Hi everyone, and welcome to this chill Pilates session. So the next 15 minutes I'm just going to be taking you through a gentle, low intensity, short Pilates based workout. We're going to be thinking about the whole body. We're going to be focusing on how the body feels. There's going to be different options, so just take what feels best for you and what you feel that you need most today from this time. So we're going to start off down on our mats. So all you need is a mat and a little bit of space. And if you come to lie down onto your back to begin with, taking a gentle bend in the knees. We just want a small gap between the legs. Start with some gentle pelvic tilt, so pushing that lower back flat down into the mat or the ground, and then arching up through that lower spine, flaring out through the ribs and the front body. And again, pushing down flat into the ground, arching up away. So just feeling that movement through the lower back. Work to your own comfortable range, and then just bring your attention to the breath as you go. And so as we take that anterior pelvic tilt, take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth as we take that posterior pelvic tilt. So just slowing it down to time it with the pace of your own breathing, trying to get right down to the base of the lungs. Just going to take one more time in each direction. And then we're going to come to find our comfortable midline position. So ideally here, we want a small gap between the lower back and the mat, so maybe just enough to slide your hand underneath. We're not pushing the spine flat down into the ground, but at the same time, we're not arching up too much away to let those ribs flare out. So just find that comfortable midline position. Relaxing those arms down by the side of the body and trying to lengthen through the front of the collarbone. So think about melting the shoulder blades and the backs of the shoulders down into the ground. So take a gentle rock with the head from side to side. Just rolling the head all the way over to the left and then gently over to the right. Massaging the back of the head. Push it down into the ground. Again, not forgetting to keep that focus on the breath. So deep inhale, deep exhale. So bringing that movement into the neck, maintaining that movement through that position, through the lower spine. And then gently coming back to a midline position. We're going to sweep those arms up, palms to face each other, and really reach for the ceiling with the fingertips. So lifting those shoulders away from the ground and then melting them back down. So we're going to keep the elbows straight. The movement's coming from the shoulder girdle, coming from around the shoulder blades. Imagine that someone's holding on to both of your wrists and just pulling them away from the body, reaching those fingertips towards the ceiling and then releasing back down and melting into the mat. So inhale to reach for the ceiling, exhale to relax those arms back down. Let's take a couple more here. Final time. And releasing all the way back down. We're going to sweep the right hand back up overhead and take the left hand down to the ground to the side of the leg. So reaching those arms in opposite directions and then changing them at the same time. So they're going to pass through that starting position, swapping sides. Left comes up to the side of the head. Right reaching down away from the body, swapping them again. So timing the breathing again. Inhale as the arms pass in one direction, exhale as they pass in the opposite direction. Again, checking back in with that lower spine position, so make sure you're maintaining that midline spine position. We should still have that kind of hand distance, that small gap between the lower back and the mat. But we're not letting those ribs flare out too much away from the ground. Work within your own comfortable range. So if you don't feel you can reach as far, we can shorten those movements down just to where it feels comfortable for you and the shoulders. Okay, let's take one more. And then bringing those arms back through to that midline position and then letting them float all the way down to the ground. We're going to push up now onto our toes, so lifting both heels off the ground and relaxing back down. So the rest of the body's staying still. It's just tightening through those calf muscles, lifting those heels away from the ground and then releasing back down again. Just take two more here. Trying to get as high as you can up onto the toes. Before we reverse that now, so heels stay glued down to the mat, toes and the front of the feet lift. So don't worry about any clicks or cracks you might get as we're loosening up and warming up into the ankles. So using the front of the lower legs now to really get that height away from the ground. Good. Take two more here. And releasing those feet back down. We're going to take the legs to roll over to the left side now. As far as you can go comfortably, twisting through that lower spine. The aim here is to keep the shoulder blades glued down to the mat, keeping the upper body still. We slowly rock those legs up, passing through that starting position again as they roll over to the right side. Pausing for a few seconds there before you bring them back. Repeating again, just like this if you want to, or adding in an extra spinal twist. So this time as the legs roll to the left, reach out through the right arm and just look over with the head and neck to that right side. Just get a nice spinal twist in opposite directions. Back to the centre, this time as the legs roll to the right, reaching out through that left arm, looking over to that left hand with the head and neck. And back through the centre again. Let's take it one more to each side. Try to maintain that gap, that equal distance between the legs throughout. So we're not letting those knees come into touch. Good. Back up through the centre again. Relaxing those arms down. We're going to walk the feet out to the outside edge of the mat now as we let both knees fall into the centre together. You might need to take your feet a little bit wider than the mat if you feel that you can get a little bit larger range of movement. So we're just working at some internal rotation at the hips. So keep it comfortable, just let those knees fall into the centre. Keep maintaining that nice small gap between the lower back and the mat. So again, not flaring out through the ribs, not pushing the vertebra flat down into the ground, maintaining that neutral spine. Hold in there for a few breaths. Make sure that you're comfortable. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Feeling that stretch into the outer hips. And then let's walk those feet in together. This time, soles of the feet are going to come to touch. I'm going to let those knees fall out to the side. Again, just as far as feels comfortable. Don't force them. Don't arch that back to try and help the legs to go further. We want to maintain that neutral pelvis, neutral spine, keeping the ribs drawn in towards the chest, stretching onto the inside of the legs. Nice relaxed breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And then slowly bringing those knees back in as we walk them back to our starting position. Here now we're just going to bring ourselves on to our next exercise. So we're going to start by lifting up through the left leg. Come into our single leg tabletop. So we want a nice right angle bend at the knee. Toes directly behind the knee. Holding that there if it's enough, or extending and straightening out through the leg, pointing through the toe, keeping the leg in line with the bent supporting leg. Reverse it back into that starter position and lower down to the ground. Let's repeat on the other leg. Single leg tabletop, reaching out, pointing through that toe, drawing it back in and lowering down to the ground. So here the movement's just coming from the hip. We're keeping the rest of the body still, really trying to get that length with the leg. Imagine we're reaching away from the rest of the body, reaching for a light switch on the wall maybe. Getting it back in, slowly releasing down. A single leg tabletop, extend the leg, point the toe, drawing it back in, lowering down to the ground. Repeat once more on each side. Maintaining that neutral spine position the whole time. Remember, just revert back to those single leg tabletop positions if that feels enough for today. Focusing on keeping that movement coming from the hip joint, maintaining that nice neutral spine position, keeping that knee toe directly behind the knee. So we're just going to take one more on each leg, whichever level you're working at. Final time. And then slowly lowering the legs back down to the ground. I'm going to draw the hands up behind the head now, just to work into a little bit of spinal mobility and abdominals work. So letting those elbows fall out into our peripheral vision, so we're not coming around the head and neck, we're not pulling on the head and neck. We're going to tuck the chin gently in towards the chest before we go anywhere, and slowly lift the head and the neck. I'm thinking about lifting through the upper spine first, the highest vertebrae from the top of the shoulder blades, just as far as feels comfortable for you. Drawing in through the lower tummy slightly, so we're not doming and arching out here. Keeping a nice flat belly, and then slowly uncurling back down, so the shoulder blades come down first, followed by the upper spine, neck and head coming down last. Good. Let's repeat that again. Draw the chin into the chest. Curl up away, feeling each vertebra of the spine peeling away from the mat, and then slowly uncurling back down. Good. Let's try this time to breathe out as we go. So exhale as we lift, inhale as we lower back down. Repeating at the comfortable speed, tie it in with your own breathing pattern. Remember only to come as high as feels comfortable for you. Want to make sure we're not putting any strain on the lower back. We're maintaining that nice gap between the lower back and the mat throughout. Let's just take one more here. Releasing all the way back down, removing those hands from behind the head. Just taking a gentle rock from side to side with the neck to release any tension you may have been holding at the back there. And then drawing those knees in towards the chest. We're going to push the lower spine now flat down into the mat. So every vertebra of the spine at the bottom, pushing down. Take a gentle rock from side to side, massaging that lower spine down into the ground. And then let's keep the left leg drawn in as we lower the right leg slowly down to the ground, like just straighten it out fully. And then we're just going to take some circles around with this leg. Keeping the hands there to apply a little bit of overpressure if that feels okay, or you might want to release those down and just actively circle that leg round. Keeping those circles comfortable for you, it doesn't matter how big or small they are. Good, and releasing that left leg down. Let's bring that right leg back into the chest. Ensuring that left leg's relaxed fully straight out on the ground. And again, taking circles around on this side, exactly the same. Again, option to release the hands and actively circle that leg round from the hip. Or use those hands for added bit of overpressure if that feels okay. I want to slow those circles down or pause at any points. Feels like there's more resistance that you want to work into. And releasing that leg all the way down. Let's slowly bring ourselves up to a seated position now. Finishing off with a final couple of side body stretches. So come to a comfortable cross-legged position if that feels okay. You might want to sit onto a cushion or a block if it feels more comfortable for you, or you even might want to release the legs out in front if that feels better. I'm going to start with the left arm, so reaching up through that left arm, bringing it to the side of the head, sitting up nice and tall, right hand, supporting hand comes down to the mat. So we take a gentle sideways bend. Really reaching with those fingertips for the wall or the door, whatever might be at the side of you. Trying to stay nice and upright so we're not collapsing down in front or twisting back. Staying upright, we're really reaching through that side body, so hopefully you're feeling it down through the side of the armpit and the ribs. And then gently uncurling back up to sitting tall. Swapping sides now, so right arm comes up, reach up tall before we take that side bend over. Again, moving directly sideways. If you feel yourself starting to twist or curl down, maybe don't go quite as far over into that side stretch. Reach back up. We're going to repeat once more on each side. So inhale as that arm comes up. Exhale as we take that sideways bend. Inhale as we pause and hold. Exhale as we come back up to sitting and let that arm float down. Inhale as we reach the arm up on the right side. Exhale to take that side bend. Inhale to pause and hold. And exhale to bring ourselves back to sitting. Releasing those arms down, just taking a few circles around with the shoulders. And then we're going to take those shoulders and place them back and down, releasing them away from the ears. And that brings us to the end of this mini chill Pilates practice. Thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed that. Remember, if you would like some more Pilates classes, you can sign up to my Pilates from Home subscription. There's a range of different styles of Pilates classes uploaded every month to suit every day, time schedule and mood. So if you want to get more access to that and try a little bit more Pilates with me, you'll find the link at the top of the page. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you back on the mat very soon. Bye.